Welcome to the Sniper's Hide review of the Vortex AMG 6-24 by 50 scope. Now this is a brand new scope for Vortex. It's the next level up from the Gen 2 Razor HD. And as you can see just by looking at it, there's a lot of changes here. 30mm main tube. This is the mil version. They come in both mil and MOA. As well, this scope is 100% made in the United States, right up there in Wisconsin. Everything from the glass to the springs and the screws in this scope are put together by Vortex. They're not speccing out the glass pack and having it brought in from overseas. They're actually polishing the blanks and coating them up there in Wisconsin. So I've been using this scope since December of this year. I've been aware of this scope since December of 2014 when Vortex brought me up to their factory to take a look behind the scenes. And there's some short video clips that you can see that, so go online and check it out. But let's go over this scope. Little over 15¼ inches, 30mm main tube. The weight for this scope is just over 28 ounces, 28.8 ounces. Almost 20 ounces less than the Gen 2 Razor. We have the same L-Tech type turrets, but in a much smaller package. And even though it's a 30mm main tube, we are seeing, as it's configured right here on this Accuracy International Mark III, with 20.5 mils of adjustment. That's 20.5 usable mils of adjustment on a 20 MOA base. Now Vortex advertises this as having 28 mils of adjustment. Put a little bit more aggressive base on here and we should be able to get that 28 mils. But this scope isn't designed as an ELR scope. It's more of a tactical hunting crossover, bringing the size and weight down. We're going to talk glass here for a minute, and most people know I really dislike talking glass. But because Vortex brought that process to the United States and they're controlling every aspect of it, there's some major differences here. I'm finding the resolution carrying out much farther. And that's not only because of the spec on the optical design, but also the way Vortex is installing the glass in the scope. They looked at how everyone else was doing it and they changed it slightly to increase that perfect alignment for these lenses. One's not a little off from the other. They have this controlled package that they're putting into the scope. And you're seeing that at longer distances. As well, I hooked a GoPro behind this and I took it out for low light, 30 minutes before sunset and 30 minutes after. The scope was still capable of seeing the target at over 300 yards away where the GoPro can no longer see in the dark. So I was able to take that GoPro off and look through it and still see a work crane at just shy of 400 yards where the GoPro was completely black. Fantastic with this scope. So if you're going to go and have it as a crossover scope, tactical, hunter, because of the size and weight, you can do that. It's a great package. As I said, 6-24 with the L-Tech turrets. Now, because they shrunk the size of this scope and package, there is no second rev indicator. When you go to the next revolution, you have to pay attention to that. Sort of like the scopes of the past. They just couldn't fit that indicator in there. Zeroing this scope, just like the Gen 2, is super easy. Remove your caps. Then you're going to go and loosen the 3 screws that are on the side, right there. 1, 2, 3. Loosen those up. Once they're loose, come in on the center, and you're going to turn this in the direction you need to go. Now it has a basic indicator, but there's no clicks with this adjustment, giving you excellent fine-tune adjustments to really get your zero where you want it. You're not being controlled by the click value. You have a free turning system. You got your zero where you need it, just go right back to the sides, tighten them down, and return the cap, and you're all set. Push to lock, lift to unlock, 5 mils past is a zero stop, and you're ready to go. Great package, both windage and elevation. Now, not only using this scope in the field here, I took this scope down to Core in Baker, Florida, shot the Accuracy International Long Range Classic with it, performed flawlessly. Once that was done, I took it back and tested it again. I did 4 tall target tests with this scope. I did 2 of them using a 4-foot level, making sure the reticle tracked the way it should, and I did 2 of them with the sniper's high target. On top of that, the first thing I did when I got it was I zeroed it at 100 yards, then put a bunch of random targets down there at 100. Read the reticle, used the central aiming point, and dialed to those random targets. They hit exactly where they were supposed to, which is an awesome test of matching the reticle to the adjustments. Now this features the new EBR7 reticle designed specifically for the Vortex AMG. Take a look at that reticle right here. Excellent reticle to balance fine aiming and hold over. It's not too busy, but it'll give you all that fine or that holdover adjustment you're looking for. I think it's a good middle ground for both the hunter and the tactical shooter. Overall, I have to say I'm really impressed with this scope. The fact that Vortex brought everything in-house is just gigantic in this industry. I mean, I don't have a problem with people speccing lenses out, but what they did with this, bringing up the quality, making sure that the optical package was perfect, it really shows 800, 1,000 and beyond. You can see the difference, and I invite you to take a look. So there you have it, Vortex AMG. Retails listed at $3,400, but you're going to be able to get it on the street for close to $1,000 less. It's going to be priced from your dealer about the same cost as the Gen 2 Razor, so you have that choice. The only question is going to be availability because the pre-orders went through the roof on this scope. Here it is, your Vortex AMG. Really impressed with it. The LTAC turret, and they shrunk the size. I don't like any of that.